Welcome to The Intuitive Therapist with Janis R. Cohen, therapist, clairvoyant, empath, and medium. Listen in as she takes a no-nonsense deep dive into real human struggles and how to resolve them. Janis will share channeled information from her spirit guide team, as well as angels and archangels, to help you master your emotional, physical, financial, and spiritual destiny. And now, Janis R. Cohen.
Hey y'all, this is Janis Cohen, the Intuitive Therapist, here on the Intuitive Therapist podcast. Hope y'all are doing well and have had a good week. I'm excited to talk to you about the topic today because really, ever since I was little, I questioned things. And a lot of times I questioned things kind of like maybe to the wrong people. Like I questioned authority figures a lot about why I had to do something. Kind of had a mouth on me when I was a kid and liked to be very independent and really didn't like to listen to anybody. But I have to tell you, I really put my teachers and my parents through the ringer when I was a kid by constantly pushing back and trying to make things and make life on my terms. And in all honesty, many times I'd get in trouble. I got in trouble a lot, y'all, both at home and at school for challenging the decisions that authority figures made for me. I got very frustrated when I was a kid. Didn't like to be told what to do. And y'all, I still don't. But in all fairness, I couldn't help but challenge them. I knew that I didn't agree with what they told me and told me what I had to do. And B, it's kind of just really how I am. I really do want life on my terms. So this once questionable behavior of mine when I was a kid, where I challenged authority figures and their decisions, actually soon became a central modality for me to help my clients. Challenging thoughts, beliefs, and actions of my clients and proposing alternative ways to think about these three things has really been a primary way that I've helped my clients create massive change in their lives and to live life on their own terms too. In previous episodes, I've mentioned the power of questions, more so really the power of how to ask the right questions. Well, I guess a better way to refer to right questions is to call them empowering questions. So in my other episodes, like I said, I've mentioned how if you ask questions that are limited, you're going to get answers that are just as limited. Questions like, why me? Why am I so unlucky? Why does this always happen to me? And other questions that only allow you to approach life from one perspective, the victim perspective. Empowering questions such as, okay, how can I use this situation, feeling, or thought to better my life? Or what can I learn about myself from this situation? Or who can I become because of this? Or what's possible for me now that I've experienced this? Questions like these posed by you to you, they open up a plethora of alternatives and options to access empowering answers. Think about it this way. If you don't learn to ask yourself different questions, not only will you get the same answers, but you won't grow, you won't learn, and you'll be stuck in the same patterns until you decide to change your approach to problem solving. Years ago, I came across a woman who expanded my way of thinking. She was teaching about manifestation, raising your vibration to a vibration of love or above, because really what's above love is compassion, and being at a vibration really that we could all benefit from, learning to be able to increase our quality of life by being in a vibration of love or above. While I was listening to her, she mentioned a few questions that really changed my way of thinking, allowed me to consider new and exciting possibilities. And I love it when I come across these people because, I live in the vacuum of my own head, and sometimes I come up with great ideas, great perspectives. A lot of times that's in conversation with clients. But I do, in all honesty, have a hard time thinking outside of my own box. And I love it when I come across people who give me the tools to do that, because I can honestly say, I didn't think of that. And my gosh, how liberating that is, to be able to think of different perspectives, ways to expand my mind. So while I was listening to her, she mentioned a few questions that, like I said, truly changed my way of thinking and allowed me to consider new and exciting possibilities. And then a few years later, I came across another woman who was also speaking about manifestation and how to increase a person's ability to manifest more of what you want in your life. Now, granted, manifestation is not the focus of today, but it really, I do want to share some comments about that. Manifestation isn't about trying to create something out of the blue. Manifestation is about tapping into the beautiful vibration of peace and alignment to call in what's already divinely, rightly yours. In other words, it's already there. Whatever it is that you're dreaming about, that you inklings about, that you feel compelled and, this compulsion to connect with and achieve, y'all, it's already there. So when I was thinking about this topic, I really wanted to help y'all tap into that. So I've always been fascinated with manifestation, and for many years I never really understood what it was or how to do it. It just seemed like this really ethereal thing other people seemed to be able to do so easily, and it always pissed me off when everybody would say, yeah, I just think about it and it comes, or I just imagine it and it appears. I'm like, seriously? I felt like that was a crock. But it's not. The bottom line is, and I've said this in a number of other podcast episodes, is when you align vibrationally with what it is that you want, knowing, coupled with the knowing that it's already there, and all you have to do is connect, align, and do your due diligence, then it shows up. Full faith, y'all. That's really what it comes down to. So now I totally get it. And I'm going to share with you how the power of questions can help you tap into your power to manifest more positive stuff in your life. Questions are so powerful. Okay, so let's talk about these amazing questions that can change your life. Outside of the ones that I mentioned before, here are some really powerful ones for you to use. And I would really like to suggest that an exercise for you after you listen to this podcast. So it might be helpful that when I go over these questions or these exercises, that you pause listening and write them down so you can do them later. So here's the exercise before I give you the questions. Take a moment. I want you to think about these two things. First, think of some challenging situations that you have experienced and take a moment to identify the way you thought, the way you felt, and the emotion, the questions that you asked yourself. For example, did you ask yourself questions like, well, what the hell am I supposed to do with this now? I'm screwed. Or, great, another disappointment. What crappy thing is going to happen next? Take a moment and write down what you typically think when you experience a challenge. The questions and thoughts that you have when you feel that you're in a disadvantaged emotional state. And take note of everything else that's going on with you. Like I said, how you feel, what you think, and even what you believe and what you focus on. Next, I'd like you to think about how you think and what you say to yourself, the questions that you ask when you're feeling positive and you encounter a challenge. So the first is, what questions and thoughts do you say and ask yourself when you're feeling in an emotionally disadvantaged state? Angry, sad, contemptuous, resentful. The next one is, what do you say to yourself? How do you think? What do you focus on? What questions do you ask when you are in an emotionally resourceful state, positive, relaxed? When you encounter a challenge, how might you respond differently when you're feeling good instead of feeling crappy? So I want you to literally stop this recording and write down the answers to those questions. and see what you come up with. Think about what questions you ask yourself and what answers you get. Are they both different than the ones you get when you believe that you're constantly screwed by life? Are they the same? Or do you come up with different questions and different answers? So take some time to write down these things and then compare how empowered and resourceful you feel given the emotional state of mind that you're in and the emotional state of mind that you keep yourself in. So bottom line is your emotional state determines how powerful and resourceful you are in your ability to problem solve. It also determines the kind of questions you ask yourself that result in whether or not you can solve a problem effectively and whether you can't. So here's some really cool questions that you can ask yourself about various parts of your life to open up the vault to the options for problem solving. 1. Why do I have more money than I need? 2. Why is my life so amazing that it exceeds all of my expectations? 3. What $1 million idea can I manifest in my life today? 4. How can the universe give me more than enough help that I ever thought possible? 5. What kind of person can I become that will amaze the world? Now, these were the first 5 lofty questions that I heard that could change my life. And I feel like they can change yours. Some of these you may ask, like the very first one I read, why do I have more money than I need? Most of y'all who are struggling for money are going to laugh your ass off at that. You're going to think, oh my God, seriously? How can I even begin to ask that question? And I want to challenge you. How can you begin to ask that question? And sit yourself in the feeling state of literally having more money than you need. I want you to practice that. That's the vibrational alignment that I talk about. For example, the next one, why is my life so amazing that it exceeds all of my expectations? Well, write that question down and answer it. Because there's always something amazing about your life that exceeds your expectations. Maybe you lived another day. Maybe you aren't diagnosed with cancer. Maybe you have your family. Other people don't. Why is your life so amazing that it exceeds your expectations? Write the answer to that question. What $1 million idea can you manifest in your life today? Seriously, try on these questions and answer them. How can the universe give me more than enough help than I ever thought possible? Think about it. Write those questions down. Write the answers down. What kind of person can I become that will amaze the world? I recently did an episode about how to be a visionary. And if you can't answer that last question, I want you to go back and listen to that one. Because each of us is a visionary in our own right. We have this belief, we have this vision of how we want our life to be, let alone how we love the world to be. And each of us has the power to not only contribute to our own vision and bring it about, but also contribute to the larger vision of the world by stepping up to who we are and giving ourselves a chance, by changing our focus, changing our thoughts, changing our language, changing our beliefs and our actions. But here's the thing, y'all. I came up with 5 more questions. So, again, you can always go back and listen to the questions in the recording, but and answer them. But I'm going to give you these other 5. So this is number 6. How can I use what's happening in my life right now to become a better version of myself? 7. How can I be of service to myself, to others, and to the world? 8. What is the most positive part of the most challenging time that I'm experiencing right now? 9. What is the most important and powerful thing that I can do right now to be the very best version of myself possible? And 10, how is it that everything comes to me easily and effortlessly? You could modify that and say, how is it that everything good comes to me easily and effortlessly? So questions like these are incredibly powerful. Yep, in order for them to work, quote unquote, you really have to truly be open to receiving the answers and vibrationally align with them. If you feel like you're kidding yourself when you ask them, you're just going to tap into the resourcelessness that you have always relied upon to keep you stuck. How's that been working for you? Right? But if you take some time and write these questions down and either keep them posted in places that you frequently look at, as well as take time to answer a few of them every day, maybe you answer the same questions every day, then your mind and awareness will expand beyond what you could ever imagine. And you're going to see your life, your emotional state, and your outlook on life radically and immediately change, all because you're asking different questions. You owe it to yourself to open up your mind to options and opportunities, and all it takes is asking different questions. So here's my last question to you. What is the next step you are going to take to amaze yourself today? I hope you've enjoyed this episode of The Intuitive Therapist. As always, I ask that y'all hop on over to iTunes, rate and review the podcast. It's just been amazing to see the beautiful, beautiful reviews, the emails I get just all over the world from people saying how much they benefited from the content. If you'd like a reading, reach out to me. If you're ready to invest your time and energy into really changing your life, reach out to me. You can email me. My address is janis@janisrcohen.com. You can call my office at 404-558-3971. And we can find a way to help you get on the track that you want to get on. Again, I hope you've enjoyed today's podcast. And I wish you a wonderful day, a blessed week, and as always, live intuitively.
Thanks for listening to The Intuitive Therapist with Janis R. Cohen. If you like what you heard, the best compliment you can give us is to share this podcast with a friend and subscribe, rate, and review at iTunes.